Before we begin, let us take a moment to bring our hands together in veneration. Our teacher, our master, is the fountain of loving kindness and compassion. He who showed us a path to free ourselves from all the defilements, all the sufferings, all the fears, angers. He showed us a path to free ourselves from this sansaric journey, the endless suffering, reminding ourselves the nobleness of our teacher, our master. Let's bring our hands together in veneration, the Supreme Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I hope you all are doing good and practicing the path, listening to the Dhamma, embedding in the spirits of the Dhamma, listening to the Dhamma, practicing the path, whatever that you do, daily activities, every day. The other day, actually not other day, today morning, I was contemplating about, ladies and gentlemen, that I was contemplating how often now the frequency of reminding the Dhamma within my mind has increased. How much, like the frequency that I recall the Dhamma within myself is increasing day by day. Because of that, now every day I speak, I teach, I listen, I discuss all the Dhamma. It's not nothing else. Everything I do, everything that my life has dedicated to the Buddha Sasana. I wish that one day you would do the same way that I do, that your life will be also dedicated 100% to the Sambuddha Sasana. And then you can enjoy this ride, what I enjoy during my life. Ladies and gentlemen, when you come to the Sambuddha Sasana, you will become someone who doesn't have anything, but he has everything. For me, we don't have anything, we don't own anything, but we use everything. I was thinking about the life that we spent inside the monastery. I don't care about my clothes because I don't have to care, because there's a department for that. When I go there, somebody like you people who has donated robes. So because of that, we have like a department for robes. So these monks are responsible for that. They look after our robes, and if something teared, and so they like we have a sewing, like huge. It's what you call that. It's not factory, garment, right? So I don't have to worry about my food. When I live in the monastery, I'm talking about the life here. I don't have to worry about the food. People have donated some because of that. So when I go downstairs, when I am hungry, something is there. And when I did something, like when I'm sick, there are people who are waiting to be treated, right? They are waiting. For example, one of the doctor that I had a I had to check with my something in my urine sample, sorry, bladder. So that doctor, one of my friend, who was my school friend, he's a specialist, uh, urologist. So he took care of everything. And when I went there to the hospital, he told me that I will take care of your the what you call the bill for specialist. You don't have to. He will take care, and he because he it won't charge. He won't charge for that, but he will pay for the hospital bill, right? So and then later I found that the hospital didn't even charge the hospital bill from him because of the Swaminathan. So that's what actually happens because of, it's not because of that, it's not because of us, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think that this happens because of we practice the path. It's not because of that we do something for the sasana. It's all because of the Buddha's sacrifice, Buddha's relentless effort that he has exerted back in the days in his life when he want when he was a Buddha's aspirant to attain the nibbana. He has dedicated his hundred life 100% to achieve this goal. He has done so many things to this world. Because of that, right, still right, after even 2,500 years, people are offering things because of the quality, because of the giving that he has done in his past lives, the past eons, that because of that sacrifice. It's not us. That's why we don't feel when we get that, we feel okay, I should practice the path. You know why? Because otherwise I will have to go to hell to pay the debts for the Sambuddha. Because if I stay there and have free meals and everything, and without practicing the path, without achieving what Buddha has achieved, without dedicating my life for that, if I stay in the sasana like without doing anything for the sasana and also to my liberation, then uh, I will owe for the sasana. Because of that, we have to. I don't know what will happen. So it's being a monk is also very dangerous. If you're a monk, if you become a monk, so you have to make sure that you practice the path. Otherwise, you can enjoy the ride in the hell in the next life. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling this because I feel this, like I feel this bliss of becoming a monk and living in this monastery. Like the 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 amount of suffering, amount of mental torment that I was experiencing back then as a lay person, my goodness, I don't have it right now. It's not because of that I practice the path, but because of the system that we have here. At the same time, because of the practicing the path, because we understand the Dhamma, we try to understand the Dhamma, we realize the Dhamma. As a result of that's the cherry on top. Hmm? Now, because of that, I don't feel any mental suffering. When I feel when I feel the triggering of the stress, I started to contemplate. I usually start to contemplate because contemplation is the only salvation we have because we can't execute any action for our release of the pressure. Because when we experience the pressure, the natural tendency, the natural inclination is to release the pressure by performing an action. That's how we came through the samsaric cycle. Every moment, if we have pressure, we try our level best to get rid of that pressure by doing some action. This is what we have been doing. But when you enter to the Buddha Sasana, when you listen to the Buddha, when you realize the pressure is not something that happens because of that you don't have anything, you don't have that. It happens because of the wanting. The pressure appears in the mind because of the wanting. It's not because of that you don't have what you want. What everyone is trying to do is they make sure to have to get what they wanted. Every living being is trying to find, trying to achieve, trying to fulfill what they lack, what they void, what they have, what they want. If you can get rid of the wanting, not by having it, but by contemplating, then you don't have to go after the objects. You don't have to run after things. You don't have to run after parties. You don't have to run after holidays. You don't have to run after anything because see, nobody invite us to a wedding. Nobody invite us to a holiday. Nobody invite us to a party. Because of that, our life is always in a party. The other day, I was talking to our monks, very young monks, who are less than 25 years old. We had a session with them. I did a session for them, and I told them that, do you feel that you are living in a temple, or do you feel that you are living in like in a like a university or something very casual and fun life? And everybody feels like that because if in a temple you have always like things, devotees are coming and everything happens, but in here on the top part of the monastery, lay people are not coming to that area. We can't see we rarely see a individual wearing trousers. We always see either Anagarika Mahathas or monks. So that's why I asked them, do you feel that whether you are living in a temple or you feel that you are living in a monastic university? That's what I felt. What I feel. Because now we have 220 monks, 215 monks or so. So it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Recently, we are actually at the moment we are in the process of building another Sanghavasa residence, monk residence, which can accommodate 800 monks. I mean, 800 monks means 800 beds. We don't need anything, right? We don't need room. We don't need any, what do you call, any private room for us to keep our stuff. We have only few stuff, like one arms bowl and 3 ropes. That's it. So we have a small box that we call boxavasa. It's not sanghavasa, it's boxavasa because of that. That boxavasa has it has small boxes like 1.5 feet and 1 feet long and height. So these boxes are the place that we keep our arms bowl and all our stuff. That's the only place that we have for dedicated to us. And all the beds and everything are floating. It's like hot desk concept. In some companies, they use that. So this is what happened to us. We had so many things when before we come here. Now I don't have anything, but I'm happy. I'm living happy. I'm living happily because of that, because of the sasana, because of the Dhamma, because of these teachings. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, day by day, every day, what I experience is every day, it is increasing my contemplation. it increases my contemplation, like it increases my understanding, it increases my realization. I can't thank. I mean, I don't have any words to thank for my teachers and for the great teacher, the Buddha. Without him, without that sacrifice, without that effort that he has relentlessly exerted before the past lives, we wouldn't have this Dhamma. Imagine, ladies and gentlemen, know how like it's very rare to have a Buddha in this world. It's not something like everybody can. It's not something free. It's not a uh, something that happens frequently in this world. It's very rare. After this Buddha, the Gautama Buddha, the Maitri Buddha Sasana is going to happen in next. Buddha is the Maitri Buddha. After that, what I heard is there are 80 eons without any Buddha. There will be 80 eons without any Buddha. Eon is something that countless number of years, 100 years, 100,000 years. No, it's more than that. There's no number for the year. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, we need to make sure that we practice this because of the merits that you have earned since you were born. Because like in the samsaric cycle, that's why you came across this Dhamma. You came to us. You started listening, and we need to practice. We need to make sure that we are dedicated. We are true. We are honest to our path. This is just not Monday we get together, we have a party and we have a session, we have 1.5 hours group session discussion or something like that, listening to the Dhamma and then leave. No, this is just, we are doing this to make sure that you practice at least these 2 hours. Because of that, you will start doing it in the next, like in other days of the week. Because I need you to practice. I need you to understand. I need you to realize this Dhamma because this is the profound philosophy. This is not one of the profound philosophy. This is the most profound philosophy in this world to liberate everyone, every living being from their suffering, from their defilements. You're so lucky. You're so precious. Your life is so valuable, ladies and gentlemen. You have to protect your life. There are so many people who think their life is valuable, but your life is so special. Your life is so valuable compared to the others. It's because you have encountered the Dhamma. If you lose this life with an accident or something, you don't know. You will lose the chance of listening to the Dhamma and practicing the path. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about whatever the things that you do. Don't do any dangerous work, dangerous things, dangerous activities. Don't take any risk. Don't take any like luck for your life. Always be protective to your life because you have to protect your life. This is something valuable because having a human life without the Buddha is just an ordinary life. I mean, you don't have anything to do because you are doing something that you were doing, you were kept doing since you were like came to this samsara. You can't change anything. Pleasure, whenever you have pressure, you release. That's it. That's the life you have spent. When you encounter the Buddha, right? When you start listening to the Buddha, then you realize, no, pressure is not something that manifests because of that you don't have. Pressure is something that manifests because of the ignorance and attachment. Pressure is something that you have in your mind because of the ignorance and attachment. It's not something that you don't have anything. It's not the reason. These are the 180 degrees, opposite direction. If you take the left side, that means execute or an action to bring something to your life that you wanted. You are taking the Mara's path. If you contemplate, if you start thinking about why this pressure arises in my mind, what happens right now? Now you are doing something serious, something special, something unique that you haven't done before. You're searching something extraordinary, ladies and gentlemen. You are an extraordinary person if you're thinking, why this pressure arises in my mind? Because you have seen that there's something wrong, there's something wrong in our mind. Because of that, we have this pressure. People accept fear. People accept stress. Little bit of stress is okay to have in your life. That's what they say. You need some amount of stress in you to keep your life, to keep the boat afloat. That's what they say. Stress is something there as it's normal. No, ladies and gentlemen, stress shouldn't be there. Your life should be like your thought patterns should be very natural. There's no pressure in the world, environment, ladies and gentlemen. The trees don't shout and say, like, give me or give me. Trees, the trees, the plants, they don't have any vexation in their, I mean, they don't have a mind anyway, but they don't, I mean, in their processes, they don't have any vexation. They don't scream, they don't cry. It's only the living beings has this vexation. It's because of the ignorance in the mind that vexation has created. The nature doesn't have any stress. The natural process does not have any grudge, does not have any pressure, does not have any friction. But in our minds, we have this friction, we have this pressure, we have this built-in vexation. That's why we need to clearly understand that if you are taking an action to execute, if you are taking an action, you execute some action to relieve from the pressure. Ladies and gentlemen, that in that moment you're taking the Mara's path. You're taking whatever that you have been taking since you came to the sansar. It doesn't do anything. Every junction in your life, every moment in your life, you need to have this, like, are you doing this action because you are under pressure, or is this something that you are doing for the purpose? This is the question you have to ask each and every moment in your life before you take any action. Don't do anything for the pressure. If you do anything for the pressure, then you will enjoy, you will experience pleasure. When you experience pleasure, again pressure will be there. Ple- don't worry, don't get uh, messed up with these two words, pressure and pleasure. See, only L is different. When your mind is under pressure, there will be pleasure, right? If you can perform an action, if you execute anything. When you experience pleasure, that positively reinforces the pressure. As a result of that, you have to do again something to experience the relief from the pressure. This is the cycle of life, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you have been doing since you were born. That's why when you become Sotapanna, when you become someone who understands the Dhamma, ladies and gentlemen, that's the moment you start doing a serious business. That's the moment you start doing something something worth out of your life. That you're using your human life as a human being. Actually, Buddha showed us a way to live as a human being, ladies and gentlemen. Buddha showed us a way to live as a human being, because our human beings are not human beings if they're doing the same thing that animals are doing. When animals under pressure, they also go with the action to get rid of the pressure. That's why you have to become an extraordinary character to this society. You have to become an ambassador to the Buddha. This is what I want from you. See, this is like I am an ambassador to the Buddha because I practice the path. I live by the Buddha's Dhamma. I want you to follow that. I want you to become that, an ambassador. Because if you can become an ambassador, ladies and gentlemen, then you can help so many millions of people. Because it's not only me who can help people. You all are individuals who can help other people to free themselves. Because you live in everywhere in the world. You can spread this message across borders. You can spread this message across nations. You can spread this message across all the continents. If you can talk to aliens, let's give this to aliens as well, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't think that they are having fun life. They also suffer if they exist. Because as far as we know, the 31 realms are on fire. The Devas and Brahmas and all the Almighty God, and even Almighty God, if he exists, ladies and gentlemen, he should be suffering. That's why we have to spread this message. In order to spread this message, in order to be the give this message to the another person, you have to become a practitioner. You have to be the message, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I want you to like part and parcel with the path, with the Dhamma. I want you to embed it. I want you to embed it in the Dhamma. This is your duty. This is why we came for. This is our responsibility, ladies and gentlemen. Your responsibility, your duty is to free yourself from the suffering. That's why you have. But this is what you have been doing. Even though you say my responsibilities are look after my children, or take care of my wife. No, you are taking care of your wife because to free yourself. You have a wife, you have children because to free yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Or you have a husband because to free yourself. You have to take the opposite way as well, okay? Because you're under pressure. You were vexed. That's why we got married. Not only you, we also got married when I was late. This happened because of that. And after that, now you have to play the drum. Mm? Since you wear the drum, so you have to play the drum. This is what happened to all of us. But that now we can't undo everything that we have done in the past, but we can change our future by change the present moment, by changing the present moment. This is what you have to do. It doesn't matter whether you are in 70s, 80s, 90s, hundreds, so it doesn't matter whether you are on the deathbed, ladies and gentlemen. You have to change yourself right now. That is the moment you can do something for yourself. This is the power of now, ladies and gentlemen. There's a book also called Power of Now. The power of now is, ladies and gentlemen, you can change 180 degrees your course. Because if you realize what actually happens in this present moment, then you can change your direction, ladies and gentlemen. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. This is, I mean, you have a valuable life. You have precious life. So protect your life. In Australia we have uh, dial before dig. I don't know whether you have in other states. In Canberra we have a number. If you dig, before you dig a hole in the land, you have to dial it and check whether it's okay to do that or not. Dial before dig, right? Likewise, dial before eat. Before you have any food, ladies and gentlemen, dial, I mean, contact your mind and ask. Contact your body and ask whether you need it or not. Because you are going to put too much energy into your body, and after that, what happens? It will be stored in your body. As a result of that, you will get all these diseases. You become an energy storage without energy releasing. You're holding energy, ladies and gentlemen. You're taking energy. I mean, you don't let energy to be free. You keep that energy within your body and you store that energy. That's why these people are getting bigger and bigger when they are like, this is what we were joking. When you come to Australia, you were like this, right? After 1 year, you were like this. You'll be like this. Hmm? You become 4 times of what you are. But it happened to me opposite, ladies and gentlemen. When I came here as an anagarika, my weight was 95 kilograms, and within 3 months, I came down to 68 because of yes, no exercise, nothing. Only thing I did, I was making roti in the kitchen every Monday and Tuesday and Saturday. These are the only merit work I was doing. Apart from that, I had a good balanced diet. That's it. In this monastery, we eat for the purpose. I want you to follow this as well. Before you put something into your mouth, think, double check whether you need it or not. Whether you are taking because of your hunger or because to free yourself, because now there's a food. See, you're undervexed. You can't tolerate letting the food out, like food, keeping it in the outside. It's too not, you feel that it's not good to keep that food in the outside. It should be where? In my body. This is how you feel, right? When you have something you love, something you like, something you think that it's very tasty. You know, because of that, these are all delusion, ladies and gentlemen. There's no any food, ladies and gentlemen. Their taste, the taste is there. Taste is not there with the food, ladies and gentlemen. Taste is something, a manifestation in the mind, not solely because of the food, but because of the tongue, but because of the brain, but because of the veins, like neurons, and all millions of causes are contributing to generate taste. But what we think is no, taste is there in the food. That's why you are projecting taste is there. The saltiness, the salt taste is there in the sodium chloride. No, sodium chloride doesn't have any saltiness, ladies and gentlemen. Sodium chloride doesn't have possess any saltiness within the sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is just a bunch of atoms. as Despina is saying. Despina's the name. Just a bunch of atoms, just a bunch of electrons, protons, neutrons. They don't have any saltiness. They don't possess any saltiness. But because of the stars aligning, millions of forces combined together, that creates the saltiness. So contemplate, ladies and gentlemen, when you eat something, try to understand this. Right? When you eat an apple, you feel that you are eating an apple, you feel the taste from an apple. No, no, no. Taste is not there in the apple. Apple is a bunch of electrons, protons, neutrons. Electrons doesn't have any apple taste. Protons doesn't have any apple taste, or neutrons doesn't have any apple taste. Then how come this has this taste? It doesn't work like that. Apple is just an apple, ladies and gentlemen. There's no apple in the apple. There's just the aggregation of energy. But these energies are combining together. The mind, the brain, and the tongue, and all these energy aggregations are aligning, combining together. That creates the effect in the mind. This is what we experience as an apple. When you say an apple, actually what you are referring to is an experience, it's an effect. That is something happens in the mind. That effect is just like that flame that we experience, explains. Remember the flame example? It's like a flame. It is not something there. It's something, a manifestation. It's something, a result of a process. It's not an object. Apple taste is it's not an entity. You can't keep the apple taste with your mouth, in your mouth, in your mind. Can you keep it? Can you hold the apple taste? No, as long as it touches the tongue, whatever the pieces of apples touches the tongue, and that creates the effect in the mind. This is what you have been experiencing as the world, ladies and gentlemen. But what we have been doing is we have been giving the credit to that bunch of electrons, saying, this taste is coming from that. You are ruining the laws of nature. You're taking the you're doing the you're taking the wrong judgment here, thinking that electrons, proton, neutrons contains the apple taste. This world is tasteless, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever the world that you have been experiencing, the outside world, the energy aggregations are just energy, mere aggregations of energy. They don't have any taste, they don't have any colors, they don't have any sound, they don't possess any touch or smell experience. These are just mere manifestations in the mental process, the minding process. And you can't say taste is there in the mind also, because there's no fixed mind that you have that contains the taste. It's just a process that happens when the causes align. That process happens. That is you. That is you, ladies and gentlemen. The experience of apple taste, the moment that you experience apple taste, that is the moment that you experience yourself. That yourself is, we can call apple yourself. That is apple you. The next moment, you will be orange you. The next moment, you will be your mother you. Next moment, because you see the mother. Next moment, you will be, now this moment, you are Mahinda Tero you. Actually, you don't have any identity, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, even though you feel there are objects in the outside, there are no objects in the outside. outside world is not filled with objects, entities, fixed forms. There are no structures, fixed structures. Everywhere you can see beings. These are not entities, ladies and gentlemen. These outside world and even your mind, everything is a process. It's continuously flowing. That's why you can't keep any experience you have. That's why even you recall it, that recalling process happens in that moment, ladies and gentlemen. You can't recall, you can't keep something with you, that experience. You can't keep my sound right now. It happens, it happens, it happens. As long as, that's why, ladies and gentlemen, the process keep happening. It never stops. It happens. You just have to understand, you just have to realize this. That's why the Buddha has showed us how do you start feeling this entity experience. But we feel the apple is an apple. We feel there's an apple contains that apple taste. We experience it, ladies and gentlemen. Because it would be told to you, right? When we don't contemplate, we are not insane. Hmm? When we are not insane. When we are insane, right? No. when we are insane, ladies and gentlemen, that is our normal life, right? We don't feel that these are experiencing process. We experience that process. We don't experience it as a process. We experience as objects, entities, things, structures, something made, something done, something created. Ladies and gentlemen, that is also an experience, ladies and gentlemen. The experience of entity is also an experience. That is also a manifestation in the mind. This is the ultimate pinpoint, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we think that we think you, by understanding the Dhamma, contemplating the Dhamma doesn't change anything, ladies and gentlemen. It only changes the way you see it. That's it. The way you perceive it, that's the only thing that it change. It cannot change anything. We cannot change anything in this world. World is anicca. World, even though you think that it is nature, world is anicca. World is always in a flow. There's nothing fixed. There's no things. There's no entities. There's no structures. There's no objects. Or there's no subject. There's no people. There's no I, selves. Even right now, even though you feel self, there's no self at all. It's a feeling. That feeling itself is also a process. That means each and every moment you feel that there's a person. That feeling is also arise each and every moment. You have created a pocket for yourself. Now you are living in that pocket, right? Within that pocket, and you think you try to become a big pocket. You don't have to do that, ladies and gentlemen. When you realize that you are just that pocket is something, an illusion that created within the mind. Your comfort zone or your zone, your self zone, right? Your identification is something, an illusion that is created within the mind, ladies and gentlemen. When you realize that, you don't have to, you give me a second, you don't have to come out of it, because that is also an experience. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show this. There's a natural process. What is the natural process? Natural process is Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. Yeah, last time I think you remember we discussed that we cannot actually sense Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara. This is the minding process. This is the mind process. This is the minding process. The vijnana is the aggregation of all these things. Vijnana. Right now, what you experience is the vijnana. I mean, it's not what you experience is the vijnana. You are the vijnana. This vijnana is not something there. It is always manifesting. It is always in production. It is always in a process. It's always something, always being, something producing. This is always in production. When this process happens, because of the ignorance, because of the attachment, that creates the pressure. Then there's an abhisankara. We don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about that. As a result of pressure, it creates the jati. This is also type of vijnana, ladies and gentlemen. This is also type of experience. This is also an experience. Now, what happened here? There are two things here. Now try to understand this. Give me 1 second. When you have red water, does that mean water molecules are red color? Let's say you have red color water, red wine. Does that mean the water molecules are red color? No. Red water means there are red color pigments plus water molecules. You can't make water molecules red in color. The red color. Red color is red color pigments, and water molecules are water molecules. Do you understand that? But when you look at it, you experience a collective effect. That's why you name it as red water. Because when you in your perception, you don't perceive water molecules separately and red molecules separately. You perceive collectively an effect. That's why you experience as what? Red water. Does this make sense? Does that make this make sense? Red water? Huh? Huh. Ladies and gentlemen, when you see this, when you see, can you see this? There's a thought happen in your mind, ladies and gentlemen. In that thought, right? If you express that thought to words, you will express it as there is a pen. It is a pen. There is a pen. This is your thought that happens to your mind. When you explain it in English, you will say, there is a pen. A pen. Got it? Ladies and gentlemen, this is also like red water. I don't understand this. When you say this, you say, there is a pen. Agree? There is a pen. That experience is also similar to red water experience. That means there are two perceptions. Two things come together to create that experience. Red color pigment, water molecules have to come together, have to mix together to give that experience of what? Red color pigment and water molecules, when you mix together, it gives rise to an effect of red color water. Then when you say red water, you don't perceive these are two different things. You perceive it as what? red water. You know that water molecules are not red color, but when you call it as what? Red water. Hmm? In the same way, when you say there is a pen, there are two perceptions, ladies and gentlemen. These two perceptions come together, create an effect. This is what you have been experiencing. What Buddha has showed to us, ladies and gentlemen, what you experience right now is an effect because of two processes. The first process is the Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankara Vijnana. It's a natural process. And there's another process that happens because of the ignorance. What is that ignorance means? Ignorance means ignorant that it is a process. You have an ignorance that these processes are processes. Does it make sense? We have an ignorance that our experiences are not experience things, but this is a process. That's the ignorance. Because of the ignorance and attachment, there's another process happens. That process, we name it as jati. Jati happens plus vijnana happens. This vijnana plus jati creates an effect. That is what you have been experiencing since you were born. That you were saying what, and you are saying right now as well. This is a pen. There's a Swamin Wahanse. It's me who is listening to the Swamin Wahanse, and I am watching at Swamin Wahanse. Even though you are watching at your computer screen, you still experience that you are watching at Swamin Wahanse. You can't watch me, ladies. You can't watch at me. You can't look at me, ladies and gentlemen. You are looking at what? The computer screen. I can't see you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm watching at computer screen. But you don't feel in that way. You think, no, 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 no. I am looking at, see, so I can see Swami. Say, Swami, yes, is the signal clear? Yes, I can see you. See? Like when you don't contemplate, when you are not in the contemplation mode, right? You are experiencing the world with these two processes. It's an effect of these two processes. As a result of that, you experience a fixed world. You experience you experience a fixedness. You can see entities. You think entities are there. You can see the same Swami Wahanse that was there, yes, like last Monday, who came here and who is doing the sermon. Now you are the same person who came last time as well. Now you are watching at me, you are listening to me throughout this time period. The convention means, you know, the convention happens because of this jati plus vijnana combined together. Let's see how we get you there. You know what? This is very simple technique. This happened like today morning. We had we had these group discussions with monks. 5 monks, 6 monks get together. Today I had to present. So I was presenting the Nyaya, the theory, 15 minutes, and with the discussion we had. And there's a senior monk and who explained something to me, like to something that make it easier for my practice. This is, I'm giving that thing to you. See, it's like today I received it. Throughout the day I practiced, and I'm now giving to you. So it worked. It is working. So that's why I want you to follow this.
Thank you.
Right now, ladies and gentlemen, each and every moment in your life, right, the way you experience the world is an effect of this ignorant process plus the natural process. What you experience is the red water. It's not red color, it's not water, but it's red water. That means it's an effect. It's an experience. It's a combined experience. It's not something, an object. This is a pen, ladies and gentlemen. When you say, what you're saying is your experience. Did you understand that? Yes. When you say, Swamin Wahanse, there is a pen. There is a pen means, ladies and gentlemen, it's an experience. Even though you think there's a pen, that thinking of there's a pen is also a thinking, isn't it? Thinking of there's a pen is also a thinking. A thought happens in your mind. That's why you say there's a pen. That is also a thought, ladies and gentlemen. Did you understand that? Okay, try to understand it, okay? There's a Swamin Wahanse. You say that. That's a thought that happens in your mind, ladies and gentlemen. What is the thought that happens in your mind? There's a Swamin Wahanse. This is a thought that happens in your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, what you experience is an experience. It's a perception. This is a defiled perception, ladies and gentlemen. That's why right now you are experiencing a defiled perception. In that perception, when you express it within words, you say, there is a pen. Is there a pen? Or there is a pen is your perception. That perception is a defiled perception. That's why you feel what? No, even though I feel there should be a pen. Even though it's a perception, there should be a pen to perceive a pen. That's right. Again, this is not theory. This is something very practical right now. You can understand this. Daily, day-to-day life, in your normal life, when you take the decisions, that decisions happen in your mind, isn't it or not? Yeah. Whatever the thinking, whatever the thoughts, whatever that you are saying, words and all these expressing ideas, everything happens in your mind, isn't it or not? That experience, ladies and gentlemen, is a defiled experience. That's why Buddha says, Idan dukkang. Hey man, what you experience is wrong. There's something wrong in this experience. Because you don't feel it as an experience. You feel it as an object. You feel there's an object. Doesn't matter. Do you feel it or not? You see there's a pen. That's what you say, right? That experience happens in your mind. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no experiencer, there's no object, ladies and gentlemen, but there's an experience of experiencer and object. This is what I'm trying to convey to you. This is something to contemplate and understand before the problem happens. That's why when we try to learn this, our natural habits is always, if we have a problem, we try to find answers to the problem. right? That's why you're trying to apply this to the problem. No, this is something, when you realize it, still you will face the problem, but you won't feel any pressure within the mind, but you will find answers to the conventional problems that you experience. When you ask that where to draw the line, it's something that, I mean, depends your understanding, depends the level of your understanding. You have to draw in your customized line in this case, right? It's something can be customized, right? But the more you understand that line, the separation you have drawn, it change, right? Okay, shall we go back to the thing that I discussed? Ladies and gentlemen, because of this Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, when I show this to you, because of this Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, the perception, this Vijnana is filled with pen. This is a pen. Perception of pen. Perception of pen. This is the black color part. And there's another perception, that is the jati, with the jati vijnana. The vijnana is some sort of vijnana here. That is the jati, because of the ignorance and attachment. This is creating, there is a, there is a means fix. There means outside. Does this make sense? Does that make sense? There is a pen, the perception of pen happens, plus the perception of outside and inside, and entities like fixedness, that there's something there. There are two perceptions happens together. Defilements plus the experience. When these two comes together, this is what you are saying, there is a pen. Right? But when you say there is a pen, that is also something that happens in the mind. Do you understand that or not? The thing is, you have an experience, only black perception without the red perception. So you can't actually, what do you call it, artificially see how is that experience. So black experience is the experience, and like when you can't say when you attain Nibbana, when you start realize that, when you start realize it's a combined effect, right? When you start realize there's a perception of pen and there's a fixed perception of fixedness. Because of that, you feel there's a fixed pen. Entities are there. That's why even when you become an Arihatunnase, still you see a pen, but you feel it's a feeling of a pen. Like the experience is, you experience your experience as an experience, not an object or not a subject. Your experience is what you experience right now, right? That means your vijnana. This is your chitta. First you have to contemplate and realize. Then it will eventually apply in your day-to-day lives. First, you have to start contemplating, thinking about this, sit in somewhere, and you have to practice in this way of thinking. then it will be applied to your normal day-to-day life. This is what exactly happens. That's why I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, each and every moment right now in your day-to-day life, you experience a defiled experience. That's why you feel from bottom of your heart, I am the same person living here and you are the same person living there, is discussing something. I am the same person who came on last Monday, and now I came here and I'm doing this. This is what you experience. Now, what you have to understand is this is an experience. It's not something that happens in an outside world. As a result of that, now what happens when you realize that this is an effect? If you try to apply this, you will, I mean, this is something very cool, ladies and gentlemen. When you understand what you experience is an effect because of two causes. Because of that, ladies and gentlemen, you are getting rid of ignorance. Because ignorance means that with not knowing it's an effect. Ah, as a result of that, in the next moment, the mind will be free from the defilement process up to some level. When you realize this is not a pen, this is an experience of a pen. Now you are up to some level in the black perception, because you can't get rid of 100% red perception until you attain nibbana, ariyatuna, say. But up to some level, you are with the black perception. Let's practice. You understand what I'm telling. When you say what is this, right? The colors appears in your mind, isn't it? Recognition happens in your mind, isn't it? Your replying happens in your mind, isn't it? Ah, then that total process happens in your mind, isn't it? Then what you have experienced is your mind, isn't it? It's not an outside world. It's not an outside object. What you have experienced is your experience, your mind. This is helping you to feel, start experience. This is the mental process that happens. I am my mind. Not I am an entity. That this is what I experience, the effect. Then, ladies and gentlemen, you become the image. You know why? When you discuss about planets, are you looking at them? Are you talking about the planet that exists in the somewhere, or this is the planet that created in right now in your mind? When you talk about planet, are you talking about planet that exists in somewhere, or are you talking about the planet that created right now within the mind, that experience? Hmm? Ladies and gentlemen, each and every moment, Nilanchals, Vetara, Kusala, Espina, Turner, Mr. Turner. So you don't have, like, you are not looking at any outside world. What actually happens there is a generation of a mind happens each and every moment. Each and every moment, there's a mental process happens. When this mental process self-realize itself, it's as a mental process. Whatever that experienced, through that mental process is not something that exists in any outside world. This is just the mental process that you have been experiencing since you were born. Ladies and gentlemen, your world is actually within your mind. It is not something that exists in the outside. You're talking about chaos in the world. You're talking about fights. You're talking about countries. You're talking about people killing each other. You're talking about your mom, your dad, your planets, whatever the mountains and food and places to visit. All these stories are just manifestations. These are manifestations that happens within your mind. We can't say there's nothing out there. What we have to understand, there's a process of arrangement of the process of energy conversions that create these mental simulations within your mind. Not within my mind. That is you. You know, this is the ultimate realization, ladies and gentlemen. This is the corner of all realization. This is the end of all knowledge. This is the end of all understanding. What you have understood so far, do you understand that? What you have understood so far is something, an experience that was manifested in your mind. This is something only your personal experience. When you live with the magical world, behave like according to the way. But you need to realize from your heart that this is what actually happens. You know, if can you see this pen?
No.
Exactly. That's good. Right? Right. When you see this pen, right? Let's say we all get out from this room, whether you can't see this mic, camera, and everything, and I'm also looking at the outside. Will there be a pen with this color, this pattern, this shape? No, ladies and gentlemen. This is a creation that happens in the mind. In order to generate that perception, there's a process of energy aggregation that creating an effect, that creating a support to generate that experience. Does that make sense? That's why when Dulanjali asked, there should be nothing out there. So I refuse that because we can't say there's nothing out there because it's not something that manifests in the mental process is not something that manifests out of blue. It manifests because of the causes coming together. But the thing is how these causes arrange and how are they arranged, whether they are in this shape or that shape, whether they are in vibrations or whether they are in dancing or whether they are having party, we have no idea. Because what we have been learning and thinking and understanding is just our mind that we, because electron, who's who saw an electron? No one sees an electron, ladies and nobody can see an electron. Similarly, you can't see me. If you can't see an electron, can you see me? You can't see me. What I'm referring to me means when I see my me experience is not your me experience, your Mahindadera experience. That experience generate based on that reaction, based on the causes that coming together with your mind. Does this make sense? There's no boundary at all because you are only the vinyana. Apart from vinyana, everything you can say outside. But the thing is, vinyana you can't separate a boundary because vinyana is also a bit like it's a middle of the process of flowing the vipaka energy. The vipaka energy flows. It's in the middle of the process. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, that's why it's a deception. Means why? Because it is now, it happens because of the two causes coming together. Two parts are coming together. Why? The natural process plus the defilement process. That's why right now what you perceive, what you experience is something a deception. This is the great deception. This is something pinpoint. This is something you can start practicing, ladies and gentlemen. Normal, day-to-day life, when you are roaming around here and there, even though you see an object, right? Seeing an object itself is an experience. If you forget this, the write down this sentence, like seeing an object is an experience. Seeing an object is an experience. So that means there's no object. Seeing an object is an experience. See, is an experience. It's an experience. It's not an object. That's the consciousness, right? That's the experience. Yes. That's the consciousness. It appears. When you understand that, in that moment, you are you're pushing or you're suppressing the ignorance at that moment. At that moment, you think about it. Because, right, I mean, you feel that it's a feeling, isn't it? I mean, right, try to go through these lines, try to understand. Seeing an object is an experience. This experience happens within your mind right now. The pen, the looking at a pen, the seeing a pen is an experience that happens in the mind. Is there a thing? Or because when you're looking at a pen, when you're seeing a pen, that experience happens within your mind. That is something triggered by the reaction between energy and the light energy. That is, you're creating an experience. In that experience, there's a sanya, there's the recognition process that can stating like that explains a pen. PEN, pen. The words are coming from that mind. Still pen is a pen. The pen perception will be there. Even right now, the pen perception is there. With that perception, there's another perception of object. The object perception is there. So these two perceptions come together. So that is what you experience. When you were, when you were young, when you were a kid, you ask from your mom and dad, what is that? Right? That means there's a seeing process there. In the parallel to the seeing process, object process is also there. A perception of an object. That's why you have seen an object, but in order to specifically recognize that object, you were vexing for a name. That's why you asked from your mom, what is that? Because in your mind you have gone crazy because you know that object is completely different to this object. There's another object, there's another object. This is this, and this is this. This is not this, and this is not this. This is the idea we have. This is the red color perception. From the red color perception, you get this kind of idea. This is this unique. It is this, and this is this. This separation happens because of the red color perception. But in your day-to-day life, you experience like it's an effect of red color and black color, both perceptions. This is my bottle, okay? What is this?
That's a
The lid,
top lid.
lid, right? Lid, right? Ladies and gentlemen, this is also your This is as an effect that what Devasist told me is right. This is also an effect. What is this? Bottle without the cap. That is also effect. But what happens here? That effect plus this effect create another effect. This is why I told you natural process. Still you see a pen. But from the definement process, you feel object is there. There's an object. When you explain in normal day-to-day life, you feel it as there's a pen, there's an object called pen. But that feeling is also a feeling, isn't it? That means this is also what? Effect. This is also happens in your mind. So when you open this bottle, what you're doing is what? You're opening your chitta, your mind. Because bottle is in your mind, the lid is also in your mind. Closing this is also that happens in the mind. Different picturing. I didn't go through anicca, right? I didn't explain anicca. I directly jump. This is why I want you to practice, because otherwise I can't explain anything to practice, because every day I will explain anicca, then time's up. Then I can't help you. I can't show how to practice it. This is like starting point of our meditation. Every day, every moment, right? What you experience is an effect. Try to feel, look at it. This is what you will do each and every moment in your life when you are well capable of doing this. Initially, I'm telling you, try to do that. Then next week, you come up with an idea, so we can't do that. Right? Okay, shall we
Thank
call
you,
it
sir.
there?
Thank you very much.